other than a brief break to help Kronos move into his new temple. Along with a few of Divan's creepier relics, most of Divan's time is spent experimenting with portals. With the help of his apprentice, Divan manages to pillage the elemental plane of Earth's wealth, but he digs too deep and too greedily, and eventually encounters an earth elemental which crosses the barrier into the material plane. Divan retreats and seals the mine while he ponders how to deal with the creature. But by the time he returns to face it, he finds it gone. Relieved that it is no longer his problem, Divan returns to his studies. Is the earth elemental no longer Divan's problem? Is the reward from the portal worth the risk? What other planes will Divan visit? Let's find out now on Dicing with Death.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death. How
Hello.
you doing, Ryan?
Doing well. Yeah, you're currently wrestling with the cat.
Yeah, this cat.
He's wrestling. He's wrestling with the pussy in his lap.
He's on the floor and he's just trying to eat me. He's very something right now, and I'm not sure what. Might be mildly distracted while we deal with this vicious beast. Look at this.
Oh my god, he's gotten big.
He's 12.
He looks kind of like Casper.
He looks exactly like Casper, and he's 12.5 pounds.
Have you brought in any priests to check if he's possessed with the ghost of Casper?
I would love to. But COVID can't find a priest these days, They're all just out there doing something else.
What level do you think they'd have to be to cast the necessary divinations at a distance?
From there to here, it's a couple miles to the nearest church, I bet. Oh. Well, this might be an interesting Dicing with Death. He's never this feisty.
Rawr. He's been so deprived.
Mm-hmm. Well, Lauren is still in bed after a long Thanksgiving day, so I think he's lonely and... All right, we're good. He's gone. Welcome to Dicing with Death, everybody. It's been a little while since we've played.
Right. Since we've last played, Dicing with Death has been usurped as the flagship show. It's now officially Shenanigans.
With 207 episodes to Dicing with Death's 206. Yes.
This is 207, isn't it?
This is 206.
This is 206. So 206 to 206. Tomorrow's 207.
That's true. They'll be at 207 tomorrow. But
we just have to chop this up into a bunch of mini episodes.
Just call each segment its own episode.
Yeah, there
Keep
you
us
go.
ahead. I can get behind that.
Yeah. So it used to be a meme how often I would change locations for streams. But
well,
that era may have come to an end.
Is this the place of permanent residence?
I don't know. I own it. I can headbutt holes in the walls, or.
But you might get shuffled around within the house still, right?
Oh, that's likely. And like this whole deep redecorated every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Or like the feng shui will be off and I'll have to rotate my desk 90 degrees.
Or like move it to this other corner, repaint the walls, put up the marshmallows.
Squishmallow, they're right there.
Squishmallows.
There's one.
I can see one.
It's probably cropped out. I can move them to the top of the pile.
That guy's cropped out.
There's plushies in that heap behind me. Don't worry.
Good. So, where last we left, Divan had done some stuff. And,
yeah. I was listening to the recap. You were off chasing a cat.
I got distracted, unfortunately. Picked the wrong time to start being a little shit.
That's okay. It's been so long since I played. I don't remember what I'm doing anymore, so I'm gonna need like another tutorial or something.
Oh, last episode we were playing with portals. I remember what was going on.
Yeah, we summoned that earth elemental and...
Yeah, and you mined some stuff out of there, and you kept rolling really badly on the loot table. You kept getting like copper.
It wasn't badly, it just wasn't interesting, right? It kept being like copper and iron.
Yeah.
Silver and iron?
Silver, iron, copper. Probably all three. Those are 7, 8, and 9 on 2d10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, though. Gold and something else are... Oh, no, it's 2d8. That's why. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. The high ones are more valuable.
Yeah. So, Devon, let's turn on some hill music. And what is this region called? Never really discussed it. This hilly area. What is the name for this region?
Am I naming it? Is it not just Necrot and the...
Yeah, but is it like
territories?
The hills of Necrot? Are these like the Dusty Hills or the Red Hills or the... What is this region called? I have no idea. Hoping you can help me.
I was going to consult a wiki and see, but...
No, they have yet to be named.
They're
One
red.
day they will be the White
giants.
Butte Mesa, but not today. Yeah.
Why? Well, don't we then have to like weave the story towards White Butte, or is that so far in the future that?
It's so far, like after the gods come and rip up the place and like drop a mountain on it.
Wait, this is pre-cataclysm?
This is pre-cataclysmic. Yes.
Oh. Does the mountain drop from the sky? I thought I was raising it from the earth.
It raises from the earth, but some of that
old
terminology.
Gods? I thought that was Devon trying to build himself a better view for his tower.
Well, it very well may be. The people in the future might think it was the gods when in reality it was Devon, but we have yet to reach either of those points. So, what do we call this hilly region?
I don't know.
Okay, what about the plainsy area down below? Or the swamp? What do we want to call any of these places?
There's snakes in them, they're plains, right? That's where all the cockatrices and the medusas were. Snake grass or something like that.
Snake grass. You could do snake grass or serpentine plains or... Snake grass is pretty solid. I'll take that.
Right, there are a lot of giants in the hills. They are red. We're about to grow some grapes. It could just be like red hills.
Red hills?
There was all the crimson blood. There was the whole Romulan incident. Fountains of blood. Temples of vengeance.
It's a pretty war-torn area. A lot of violence happening here.
Could just be the red hills. For now, they are red. They are hills.
Very descriptive. What about the swamp?
Does anyone go into the swamp?
Not really. Maybe some of the giants, but the whole area is a mess. Maybe some people...
Trolls.
Right, there was that, like, village on the edge that appeared to once be habited, but is now just, like, full of ghosts.
Haunted.
Yeah. So I think that's
What are other cool names for wetlands? There's, like, bogs and...
Marshes, moors.
Yeah.
Swamps.
And I bet this is brackish. I bet this is basically like this is almost a connection between the sea on either side of the peninsula, right?
Absolutely.
Like in different epochs, it was probably below. Like this was Necrot was probably an island.
Right. So this would have been the all the fresh water comes in from here, and then you get the salt water coming from the side. So the middle is probably pretty fresh, and then it gets really bracky on the edges.
The music coming from Roll20?
It is.
Morass.
Ooh, morass. The black morass.
Is
that a place in Warcraft
bayous?
2?
I think so, or maybe Warcraft in general.
Ben.
It's more like a forest, or like a fayish forest. Even brackish.
Reservoir? could also just be about like the edge of your little island over here, you know? Could be the like gateway to the land, or Wood, Smoke Gate, Mouth of Necrot, Fungal Pits. Ugh.
Whoa.
Some bad names here.
Mud Flats. There's already Ghosts of Salt Marsh in D&D, isn't there? I like throwing in. I like Brackish.
Mm-hmm.
Or Tidal.
The Tidal Plains.
Brackwater.
Moor is...
Those are like rolling hills.
Okay, I thought moors had to do with swamps.
Maybe. How do you spell moor?
Moor.
Tract of open, uncultivated upland, a heath.
Dialect,
A
US, a fen, which is a low and marshy or frequently flooded area of land.
A fen is a wetland?
Yeah, I think a brackish fen would be quite accurate here.
Yeah. And
Wetland
fen also has the Feus implications to go along with the trolls.
Mm-hmm.
Fen. Brackfen.
Brackfen.
Brackish fen. Which sounds better?
I think brackish sounds better than brackfen.
Fenbrack.
Fenbrack. The
Fenfrack.
end of the fen. Fendlandia. Fender more? Why don't we just do brackish fen for now, and if we decide we hate this name, you can just call it something else.
Dropping some lore bombs right off the bat, so in case this episode's a dud, there's still some
Some redeeming qualities at the beginning of it.
I like it.
Fenland. That's pretty good, actually.
Why is Finland good?
It's like Finland. Finland, Fenland. I don't know. It just tickles me. I love the puns. Great. And the snake grass, I don't know about these two sections of woods here. I don't know if they need their own names or if they're just like the snake grass, but they're wooded. You know?
Mm-hmm.
We can come up with names if we want.
Yeah, and there's also this little inlet right here that probably needs a name.
Mm-hmm.
The oceans probably need names.
Yeah, but I don't think we need to name everything right now. I think 3, considering how hard it was to name these 3, is enough for the time. We'll pop into the others. So you've played with portals. Your ogre has set up a shrine, a temple to Velthara with with her amulet in tow. Population of Necrot is on the rise. Your marriage to the town elder's granddaughter is still on the horizon. Or maybe we can, roll right through that. But that's coming up. What else? I think those are all the big points of what's going on.
Yeah.
What does Devon want to do with his time? I know there is desires to gain spells and levels and powers and make items, so how would you like to go about it?
I've got a few spell ideas. We were also talking about a journey to the Dwarven lands to see if we could recruit some craftsmen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can think of some spells. Where are we narratively? Is this just kind of this? It's winter, right? So this is kind of like the long indoor hours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, although in this part of the world, it's still like Mediterranean-ish climate, so it's not too cold in the winter. You're not going to really see any snow unless there's some freak weather patterns and fewer daylight hours and, you know, colder temperatures, maybe a little bit wetter. But you know how it goes.
Yeah.
70 degrees, nice sun out, people at the beach, still playing in the water. Bastards.
Yeah. Okay. Well. So one of the spells I was looking at, or I was thinking of, would be called like extrude or something. It would forcibly or force a chunk of material in a chosen direction. Devon would primarily use this to extrude minerals or ore deposits from the plane of Earth as he opens it. But I could see it having other functions. I think it's kind of like it'll be similar to dig, but probably lower in power level and slightly different in effect. Right, so maybe it could be a 3rd level spell.
Sounds pretty cool.
And could presumably be used violently. Like it'd be like an instantaneous extrusion of material.
Okay.
But
So,
but it could conceptually be used in combat to like thrust a chunk of earth from the ground upwards at a creature.
okay.
Or from a wall, or maybe you extrude the creature's spleen. But so it will move some specified volume of material in a direction, and then maybe deal damage on order with like a set spear thrust or something. So like a 2d6 on a roll to hit, maybe like a stunning or reeling effect.
Okay.
So
I dig it.
Yeah. So probably combat abilities that are severely underpowered for a 3rd level spell. Such that you wouldn't really want to use it in combat.
Right,
maybe.
but if you have it memorized, it's... Yeah, I don't mind some
Has some
crossover
utility.
there. I like that. And Stone Shape is 3rd level and would be another way of doing a similar thing, but definitely not what you're looking for, because Stone Shape is like... It wouldn't give you control over where the things in the rock are, but it could sort of... That's 3rd level seems like a very good area for this extrude spell, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Shall I write on my character sheet my spell ideas?
Yeah, wherever you want. Character sheet's a great spot, but if you have like a document, a text file.
I had not started such. Is there a way to do a reverse JSON and like extract from a character sheet to go to your website?
Not quite exactly, but I can copy and paste it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Extrude your ass to your face.
Right?
Wow.
You could do all sorts of creativity, but I think just be like, when in combat, roll the hit and deal 2d6, 2d4, 44. I was thinking like equivalent to like a spear. In damage. I was thinking it might be interesting to have a roll to hit and a save versus spell effect. So like roll to hit to do 2d6 damage, save versus spell to avoid reeling for a round.
Yeah, that makes sense, because then you hit them with it, and then whether or not they can handle the trauma to the body.
Yeah, or there's wiggle room for narrative. So like maybe the attack misses, but they fail to save, so they like throw themselves out of the way, and they're they lose a round, but they don't take the damage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, or the thing goes to extrude with them and they kind of move in the same direction as it, so it doesn't quite pull out, but it still like stresses the inside in some way, shape, or form. Or you go to like, extrude their intestines and you end up just like extruding, or not extruding, but like knocking them around and disrupting the body cavity. I could see all sorts of stuff going on there. Like it. I started going through the list of wizard spells, not cleric, and assigning them common, uncommon, or rare types depending on my perceived notion of their frequency found within regular peoples.
Say again, this is...
For wizard spells, I'm starting to add like a common, uncommon, or rare tag to them.
Oh, so interesting.
Hopefully I can have like automate a way of making spells, or maybe like when you level up, you can get
spell books. You mean? You
yeah,
can choose any common spell, but
or if like you're in a town, we can like roll. A common spell might be available for purchase, but you have to go to the city to get the uncommon ones, and the rare ones require like, I don't know. I think it'll just give us some tools to work with here.
Yeah. You could also have like mythical or unique spells that like you need to get, like most of the ones we invent, like to get Georg's handy metric, you have to journey to Georg's abandoned workshop and rifle through his notes.
Right, like someone has heard of Georg's handy metric and it's been written down and you know of it, but no one knows how to cast it until you find his skull and speak with dead and ask him how to cast the spell. Something.
So damage, I wanted to base it off of like a spear set to receive charge. Do we want to do 44 for Neal spears? Should I just do 2d6 for like a basic ass spear?
44 seems fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this showed up in a different universe with different spears, maybe we could
Yeah, but for a third level spell, like a lightning bolt does 5d6. So 44 or 2d6 is going to be less than half damage from a lightning bolt and only at a single target. So that seems super weak for a third level spell, which makes this, more of a side effect, which I like.
Yeah. Yeah. 5 yards per level is a standard casting range, right?
Mm-hmm. That seems fine.
It's probably evocation, or is it alteration? If you're like taking an existing piece of material and applying a force to it.
Right. So that sounds like
evocation if you phrase it that way, but it could be altering.
Yeah. What are there? Were there any other spells that move material? What's dig? A dig is evocation.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
So move earth. What is this? Move earth is alteration. Anyways, dig. Yeah. So I think it would be evocation. Dig excavates 125 cubic feet per round. Oh, this is like construction.
Yeah.
I'm imagining just like a small volume, but it may be more useful if you're like, there's a crystal vein, and you just like yank it out of the wall.
I want to take all of the copper out of this deposit and just have it. Does it maintain its solid form, or does it become liquid in the process of extruding?
Both, probably. I'm imagining it's applying an instantaneous force. So in order to do that, right, the edges are probably going to melt as they like friction.
Yeah, melt or break or disintegrate
due to friction at the edge, but more akin to like a force rather than like a disintegrate.
Right.
So
so if you've got like a vein of metal running through Earth, then it kind of like breaks and snakes and has different edges, and you extrude it. Are you just going to get like the core, or all the parts that come off to the side also going to break out of the Earth?
I mean, I think like any similar spell, the wizard chooses like the target and the direction. So you can like, if you've got a quartz vein that you're trying to preserve, you could like target it in that specific area and try and extrude just the quartz, but it's a physical force, so it's going to probably crack it and chip it and damage it.
Okay.
If there's a specific goal in mind, I feel that would be like case of like, okay, make a spellcraft check to like properly aim it, or make an intelligence check to try and extrude this crystal without damaging it.
Okay. Then it would have to be on like I want to say like an object, like you could extrude someone's liver, or you could extrude the like ports.
I wanted to avoid
ground,
that.
But
I wanted it to be able to, but like if you can target a rock, like a section of rock with it as well, or like the ground. The ground is certainly not homogeneous.
So you could just like make a pillar of earth shoot up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess the next question would be, what volume of earth?
That's what I was trying to calculate. Dig is 125 cubic feet per round, and it's 1 round per level. So maybe like a cubic foot per level or something. Right? It's still like an order of magnitude less than dig.
2 orders of magnitude less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be like, we'd probably need to know exactly how much. Do you think the dimensions should be specified, or can it just be right? If you take a cubic foot, that's a foot by a foot by a foot. That's actually getting to be pretty big.
Yeah, cubic
Maybe it
foot's
should
a
be
lot of
even
space.
less.
Well, if it's I think if you're gonna like raise a column before you in the earth, you might want it to be a cubic foot.
Yeah.
Or maybe even like, many feet on a side.
Yeah. So up to 1 cubic foot per level.
Yeah. And then maybe like throw a minimum dimension on that, so you can't be like, it's a cubic foot, but it's only a 1/4 inch by a 1/4 inch by a mile. Some sort of minimum cross section of half a foot, or some.
Well, yeah, or maybe less volume, or sorry, less, like it's a maximum volume, right? So like I was imagining this being used to make an earth spike, like underneath, like in combat you'd be like, and you pull out a spear of earth from the ground beneath an enemy.
Love it.
In which case, like, it's going to be smaller than half, like it'll have a point to it. So I'm imagining generally this is a spell that gets applied fast and loose, and you just like, you apply this instantaneous force to a region, but eventually it's going to be like, okay, I'm going to use this for mining, so you need to know exactly how much material can be moved.
Yeah.
So I think just applying,
There's going to be a little bit of crossover, perhaps, with Wall of Stone. I just want to make sure we don't accidentally make a third level Wall of Stone spell.
Wall of Stone conjures stone from somewhere else, right? This is like applying a force to a particular area. I think if it's like, How I want to nerf or limit the power level of the spell is to leave a lot of room for interpretation for the DM.
Okay.
So like caveats I'm writing is like that it may damage the material or surrounding materials. Or
and if you were to make a spike rise out of the ground, there would just be a vacuum underneath it. So as soon as the force is gone, it might
I kind of like the idea of it making permanent changes, but like, right? Because I'd like to be able to pull out a spike and leave the spike there, but like, what happens to the vacuum left behind?
We can ignore the vacuum below. It's magic, you know. The earth could fill on either side behind it.
Yeah, right. Right. So I think that's more likely. And then a save is in the cards for a creature that this is targeted against gets a save, but I could also see like a structure getting a save, right? So if you're like in any way, right? So like if you're using this to pull up to create a barrier, maybe the surrounding walls get a save to resist it, or maybe the material you're pulling it from gets a save. I don't know. Like, so I don't think generally it would get you would need maybe a saving throw, but if
stone would get a save, like you know the battlements of the fortress get a save, but you know the earth just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, or like the farmer's field doesn't get a save. That seems fair. Like that.
Casting time. I want it to be fast, almost, but typical for third level spells. Is a casting time of 1 per spell level a standard thing?
Yes,
I think that almost is. So
for wizards, it's 3. Almost always 1 per spell level.
Okay. I don't have material components yet, but there may be an appropriately arcane component. I don't know. I think for this campaign, it almost doesn't matter, but like...
maybe it could be a sample of what you want to extrude. So if you want to like extrude the earth, you just take a handful of dirt while you cast a spell. And if you want to extrude like the metal from within the earth specifically, you know, you need a sample of that metal.
Yeah, I wanted to avoid it being like a particular... Like, I don't think it would... Avoid it being a particular material or object. Right, I think it's more of like an area of effect, right? So you wouldn't be like, I extrude all of the gold from this rock.
No, I think
it's a little more sloppy than that.
I'm going to make like a spike of rock come out in the area of the gold vein, and now we'll just take that and break it up and melt it down. That makes sense. Okay. Then you might need to mark either, I guess in the Erickson's, it's not a touch attack or a touch spell, then mark an area somehow. So some sort of like outlining tool or force.
I think that's almost in like the setup. That'd be like having the character make a intelligence check to like do the measurements beforehand and try and line it up. I was thinking more like there's a lot of dye already, and I'm thinking like or like the little thing that pushes out in like manufacturing.
Oh, you mean like a press or a what would you call it?
Yeah. Might even be just called an extruder.
Extruder. Sounds like
like a screw.
An extruder is simply the machine used to complete the extrusion process.
Yeah. I think a screw made of probably made of anything, right?
Yeah, I don't see a reason why this would need to be a particularly expensive spell component.
Yeah.
Sometimes, for like augury or whatever, you need expensive dragon bones because it's a forever useful, powerful spell. But this seems fairly limited in scope, which is nice. And screws are hard enough to make that you're going to need a proper smith to do it. Like, that's not an easy thing to do.
How much should we say a screw costs? A silver?
Yeah, I would say a screw costs a silver.
All right, there's that's the wrong one. There's a first pass, if you'd like to take a look. There's a separate materials section, isn't there? Material components. Screw.
Force, damage materials, surrounding materials.
Sorry.
When used offensively, spells deals up to 44 damage to one creature. Successful save. Hit. D20 plus wizard level. Okay, yeah. So you're, as if
I would.
There's like not Melf Sacedero and stuff. Yeah.
Does Melf Sacedero have a way of specifying? I was lamenting that there's not a way in. There's not a standardized 2E like spell attack roll.
Yeah, Melf Sacedero says the wizard makes an attack roll as if fired by a fighter of an equal level, not including proficiency, penalties for non-proficiency or blah 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 blah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
I figured just using wizard level as hit bonus. It's slightly better than fighter of equivalent level, but I don't know.
Close enough. That's fine.
And then I guess I need to make a spell learn check, don't I?
Spell research check.
Yeah.
You already have completed the processes for learning the spell with the whole extracting things from the elemental plane of Earth. I think that is would easily cover any of the research needs you would have had.
And could even be the time frame. I don't remember I don't think I was doing anything else in those time, but that could be some of the weeks of research.
I don't know where my book is.
I can probably look up. Research. Is it in the DMG?
Spell research I think there's a DMG section, but there's also the spells and magic section.
Oh yeah.
What I'm looking for.
I do not have that book.
Speaking of things you do not have, I have a growing pile of various gifts that you were supposed to have received over the last 5 or 6 years. That I'm I'll give Brian to this for his birthday, and then 5 years pass and I still haven't mailed it to you. It's a small pile of things. So at some point I'll need your new mailing address.
Yeah. Well, should be permanent.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, research, blah, 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 potions. No. Spells. Signature spells, no. Recharging magic items. Items that no players should ever create.
Is that an actual section?
It's an actual section.
The Amulet of Malchus.
Yeah. Spheres of Annihilation, Decks of Many Things are the two that they specifically call out, I think. Yeah. All right. Proposing a spell, describing a spell, conducting research. Base success chance, 10% plus 1 point for relevant ability, intelligence plus 1 point per experience level, minus twice the spell level. So
my level is 6, the spell level is 3, so that negates. So it's just 10% plus int,
which is
16, so a total of 26.
Okay, and then for every week that you continue to work on it, you get another 10%.
And that can be cumulative, right? You can.
Yes.
So is the base time 1 week?
I think the base time is 2 weeks.
Okay, and it doesn't matter the spell level?
2 weeks per spell level. Good call.
So 6 weeks is the base.
Yeah.
And only if I roll a 95 to 100 is there a problem? Or is it
99 to 100, yeah.
So unless you're really worried about rolling a 99 or 100, you're better off just rolling it 6 weeks and then checking to see when it finally finishes, right?
Yeah, just to roll at 6 weeks at...
Yeah. And then it's 10% per week?
Yep.
So week... 7 weeks is a pass.
Is a pass. Excellent. All right, so you will create the extrude spell.
I don't want to immediately go abusing this, but I think we'll do one more of those. Minor gateway, assistant holds the portal open, and I extrude from it. Do I need to role play or make charisma checks to convince my assistant to do this again after the Earth Elemental incident?
Of course not. Of course not. If he was a squeamish assistant, if she was a squeamish assistant who would flee, she would have fled at that point. That she stuck around at all is indicating she's willing to go the extra mile to get the great magics from you.
Yeah. Does the mine get up and running once the Earth Elemental has moved on?
It does.
And we've mourned the loss of the 2 dead miners or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there's the safety
one dead
meeting
miner, and then there was some idiot took it upon them. The foreman took it upon himself to assign watchmen to the mine who promptly got murdered.
Yeah. And then you need to have the safety meeting about how to prevent this in the future, and everyone needs to get a hard hat. There's it takes a while to get the mine up and running again.
Anti-Earth Elemental hard hat.
There's protesters out front,
So I'd like to make, and then so we can get Heifer. Heifer makes some screws. Mm-hmm. Maybe invents the screw as a part of this.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned you need a circular applying force, and he's like, oh, well, if I just twist this piece of metal.
Wow, this is way better than a nail.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to make one more roll on the Elemental Plane of Earth sheet or table that you invented. Do you have that handy?
I do. It is still open from when we played it last week. Roll me a 2d8.
Do we do this in the mine again, or did we do this somewhere else? I think we do this somewhere else.
I think you do it somewhere else.
Yeah. We do this out behind the hills behind
town.
Devon's. It's not a tower yet. Devon's shack.
Yeah.
Out in the in the fallowed vineyard. There's a vineyard that's supposed to be constructed, but its manager is a bit of a layabout and drunkard, it's also winter.
Yeah, so spring is coming. He's gonna plant the grapes. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my god, that's more iron.
All right. Well, I extrude a bit of iron. Are there any earth elementals that come with it? What about an iron elemental?
Oh, that would be terrifying. No.
What about
that's fine.
Cal William Marshall burrowing his way through the elemental plane of Earth?
He just pops his head out. What the fuck is this? And heads back in. Unfortunately, no. But you do extract a great amount of iron. Enough for.
Yeah. Oops. I did not mean to enlarge. Extrude could do up to six cubic feet of iron, which is way more than would be available here.
Right, but you can get a nice long chunk of iron that just shunts itself all the way out of the portal, and then collaterals to the ground with rocks around it, and the miners grab it and haul it all the way out before the assistant
this wasn't near the mine.
portal.
No, this was out back, so I think I will have Heifer or Kronos around.
Yeah,
drag it back to his forge and continue smelting into iron weapons and equipment.
Yes. Well, Necrot, once a poor, remote goat herder town, is now the center of mining and industry. You have a great, if sort of ugly and easy to make fun of, smith You have huge mineral production and metal production, far exceeding the capabilities of this tiny little town. You will soon be flush with wealth.
The other spells I was thinking about were the magic chair spell that we memed about. I caught up on Tombs of Scoria, if that wasn't obvious yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll invent the magic chair spell another time. Up to you. I feel like that'd be like a second level spell. What level is like continual light? When can you first start making permanent second level?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not third for wizards or something?
Ooh, it might be third for wizards.
I think it's second level priest, third level wizard spell.
He knows his shit.
But maybe a second level wizard spell would be fine.
For which?
For like magic chair that makes
the uncomfortable
wizard
chair.
Makes the chair mildly uncomfortable for anyone other than the chosen whatever to sit in it. We can flesh that out another time.
Yeah, and Frisky Chest is a second level spell and permanent as well.
It might be a higher level spell, but I would like to reverse engineer some wizard healing at a lower level than is currently available. So there is precedent for this. Polymorph Other is a 4th level spell, and that heals you D12 HP. Okay. And then the 6th level spell, Trollish Fortitude, would be kind of that's 3 HP per level. 3 HP per round per level. But I think inventing a lower power version of that using this troll blood as a spell component, probably to allow the recipient to regenerate 1 HP per round for a small number of rounds. And it would need to, and so we need to figure out what level spell that bit is. But I think that kind of gets around the whole wizards can't have healing, right?
Well, I mean, regenerating X HP per round for a small number of rounds is essentially saying non-combat healing, right?
You could cast it going into combat too, why not? Or in combat
but what I'm
too,
saying is that it'll essentially just be a healing spell,
right? But usually wizards don't get healing spells, but they've already got this necromancy regeneration spell. They've already got polymorphs that give you a heal when it expires.
Trollish Fortitude, while the spell's in effect, the caster regenerates 3 HP per round until you reach your normal maximum, and it has a duration of 1 round per level, so it's...
And you regrow limbs and stuff, too.
Okay.
Yeah, while the spell is in effect, the character can rejoin severed limbs simply by holding them in place. So I think is there a regeneration? There is regeneration is a pre-spell that's like 7th level. But something along regenerate is maybe just from regenerate to regenerate, like a spell, like regeneration.
Okay.
Something like that gives you like a 1 HP per round, maybe 1 round per level regeneration.
Right.
If it's how do spells typically scale? So if a 6th level spell is 3 HP per round,
I think if you do a 3rd level version of it, it would probably be like 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that possible? That seems earlier than I was fearing. 4th level. So polymorph self is a 4th level spell. The main reason you cast that spell is to transform, but a side effect is the D12 HP.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe 3rd level is appropriate.
Because D12 is going to be 6.5 HP on average, and you'll be a 9th level caster when you cast that. So that's less than 1 HP per level, but that's a side effect from a much more powerful ability.
And we could even make like the spell component blood from a 2-headed troll or something like that. Like that would. So for this campaign, that's easy access, but usually that's like a very rare spell component.
Right, so it's not a spell.
Even troll blood is rare enough, but yeah, so it's like, yeah. And 3rd level is also like fireball, and
you're not going to want to be using 3rd level spell slots on healing abilities.
Yeah.
And I don't think you ever get quite a lot of them.
Healing abilities?
3rd level spell slots.
Oh. I mean, eventually you get 5 of them, but...
Yeah, but by that time, I think you're like crazy high level. What is the progression of 3rd level spell slots? 1 at 5th, 2 at through 6th through 7, 3, 8, 9, 10. Okay, actually by 10th level you have 3. By 11th level you have 4. You have 5 by 13th level.
Yeah.
So I could see 1 HP per round, 1 round per level, 3rd level spell requiring exotic spell components like blood from a 2-headed troll.
Yeah.
That seems fair.
Should we invent that now?
Yeah, why not? That sounds great.
Okay. Did you have a better idea for a name other than regeneration? Like, I like simple spell names that haven't already been utilized. So like that extrude was like right up my alley.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a spell that should exist. The trouble is regenerate is already like a 7th level
Right.
free spell that literally regenerates limb or restoration. What do they call it it's usually regeneration. I'm thinking in like video games, you're like HP regen.
Right. It's usually just like heal or heal 3, regenerate, cure wounds, blessed something, but we could do like transmute life force or something.
Why not something simple?
Yeah, that's exactly the opposite, I suppose. Maldapt.
Range, touch, AoE, 1 creature, casting time. Maybe make this a longer casting time. 6. Duration, 1. Save. NA. Would there be a way to reverse this to do 1 damage per round? It's probably not even worth casting.
Maybe. I have a spell called Reverse Healing, which essentially reverses healing. So if you're wounded and you heal naturally at a rate of 1 per day, this will cause you to take damage at a rate of 1 per day.
That's interesting. Or if you cast a Cure Light Wounds, that all deals damage.
Then that'll deal damage, right?
That's a cool spell. What level is that?
3rd level. Its specific use is really for trolls, because then you wound a troll, cast Reverse Healing, and run away, and they'll just like take 3 points of damage around until they die.
What level did you say it was?
3rd level.
3rd
Necromancy.
level,
Reverse Healing. This could be an enhance healing or improve healing.
Any caveats I should add? Like it really doesn't heal wounds. It might stop bleeding.
Yeah,
Would it even stop bleeding? Yeah.
I think stopping bleeding is fine. How would it affect a creature that already has innate natural healing? Like if you cast it on a troll, does the troll still gain 1 per round, or does the troll go into like ultra heal mode? Is it like a day's worth of healing in a round?
Oh, that seems like it would be easy to exploit. I would think it'd just be additive. So like the troll would heal 1 more HP per round.
Okay.
Should I say heal 1 extra hit point per round?
That's fine. That'll work.
The is a quaff of blood. A 2-headed troll consumed by the recipient. Let's see. So this spell may stop. Is severe bleeding something I shouldn't, or is bleeding in general, stopping bleeding in general fine?
Severe bleeding is the like d6 times 10 percent HP per round. Right?
Yeah. So I'll say this spell may stop minor bleeding.
Minor or major, because major is 1 per round, minor is 1 per 10 rounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
But will not usually heal specific injuries. I'll leave usually in there as like a
for very
points.
Specific situations. That seems fine.
How does that look?
Sure. Look how this has to heal one level. Spell must stop my bleeding. Quaff of blood from a two-headed troll consumed by the recipient. Yes. No ability to damage anything. Touch. 6 casting time.
Basically a mid-level way for a wizard to cheat the generalization that wizards can't heal.
Mm-hmm.
Is this so? Devon casts this, it will heal 6 HP.
Mm-hmm.
I could heal the full pretty quick if I just sit around all day drinking troll blood. I'm trying to think like end game.
Yeah, because we're using the spell point system. You're going to be able to abuse this a hell of a lot more.
If you're okay with, like, I feel like for a solo campaign,
that's fine. I'm not worried about it.
Right, like,
yeah.
I think for Devon to sit around drinking troll blood to heal up seems fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can limit this if a wizard were to try to pick this up in a regular campaign. They're not going to have a ton of 3rd level spell slots to throw around. They're probably not going to have an infinite quantity of two-headed troll blood to chug.
And I can also just be like, it's not available. Sorry. No, you can't learn that spell.
Yeah.
We can just shut it off if needed. It's a foreign spell you've heard of, but no idea how to make it happen. If you want to go on an adventure to get the spell, we can make it an adventure. You know, that sort of dealio.
And my intention is that if there's clerics handy, this is probably not worth doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I also kind of wanted troll blood to be useful. But maybe not.
Any reason why we might want to limit the number of times a person can benefit from this in a single day?
No, but I could see that I could see like once per day, a creature can only, or maybe saving throws or something. Or like if you get this cast on you more than once per day, make a saving throw or become ill from all the troll blood you're drinking.
Ooh. I like that. Drinking troll blood is probably not great for you. Maybe like
Should it be every time you cast? Like every time you receive it, do you have a chance of being ill, or should there be one freebie?
One freebie sounds fair, and we could even phrase it as like the spell isn't what's damaging; it's the troll blood that's damaging.
Yeah.
So like, drinking more than one draft of troll's blood in a day has a cumulative 10% chance of causing the person to be violently ill for something. Although I don't know if 10% is the right number to put there.
Let's see. Should we specify the duration of the illness, or just leave that up to?
I think we can just leave that up to the DM, and maybe a con check instead of a saving throw. But in that way, you can. Well, I don't know. Saving throw allows it for higher level characters to overcome it more easily.
Yeah.
Con check makes more sense for like dwarves to be a strong recipient of the spell.
They also get bonus to saves for con.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. How does that look?
Accumulated -1 penalties for each additional roll or becoming violently ill. Yeah, perfect. Great.
Okay. So I'll do my D100. Less than 26. Oh, almost.
So close.
Less than 36. Oh, 46.
There we go.
And a 2, so 8 weeks.
8, and the other one took 7. So that's another 15 weeks, which is just about 4 months. So we should be well into spring by now.
And probably the weather getting better. Maybe I'm planning my trip to the dwarves.
I thought you were going to say you're planning your wedding with your blushing bride-to-be. Springtime. Oh, no, I think you guys agreed on a summertime wedding.
It was to coincide with Dorboff and Guam, or whatever you've rebranded them as, which I think might have been in the fall. Yeah.
Ooh, might be in the fall.
And we can change the name of that regeneration spell if inspiration strikes us with something better.
August 7.
Okay. You can just let your wife plan the whole wedding. She won't be mad at all, right?
You'll have to lend a hand, but not change any input, right? You are a support mechanism. There are moments where you're absolutely supposed to act, and the rest of the time, you know.
Yeah. So I think we've moved the Troll Blood Fountain to the Temple of Valthara, correct?
Correct.
To Valthara's Crack?
To Valthara's Crack.
Valthara's Crevice. Yeah, okay. So that's probably one of the reasons this spell research takes so damn long. I've got to constantly be traveling, whatever this is, a few days' journey.
You get violently ill a few times drinking too much troll's blood.
Right. I think this is Devon trying to like reverse engineer whatever, not Hagatha, Atropos was brewing. Like she had some DM hacks, healing potions that she was making out of the two-headed troll blood. Nice. This is Devon stubbornly trying to reverse engineer it without asking her for instructions.
Right.
Getting himself sick, but eventually inventing a spell that will kind of work. I guess I never tested how many troll blood potions I could drink before getting violently ill, but well, why don't we take our first break here so I can go get some more coffee, and we will be back on the other side with some more Dicing with Death. Sounds good.